In 1775, the American colonies began a daring fight for independence from Great Britain. The colonists were tired of British rule. They wanted freedom. They wanted to govern themselves. The war started with battles at Lexington and Concord. The colonists were fighting for their homes, their families, and their future. The early years of the war were difficult for the Americans. The British Army was very strong. The Americans had a smaller, less experienced army. But the Americans had something the British didn't: the will to fight for their freedom. They were determined to win no matter the cost. In 1781, the war was at a turning point. The British had won several victories in the south. They controlled important cities like Charleston and Savannah. General Charles Cornwallis, the British commander in the south, moved his army to Yorktown, Virginia. He thought it was a safe location. He was wrong. Meanwhile, General George Washington, the leader of the American army, saw an opportunity. He knew he had to act fast. Washington marched his army south from New York. He was joined by French forces who were helping the Americans. They surrounded Yorktown, trapping Cornwallis and his army. The French played a critical role in the siege of Yorktown. The French Navy, under the command of Admiral de Grasse, blocked the Chesapeake Bay. This prevented the British Navy from rescuing Cornwallis. The French also provided soldiers, cannons, and supplies to the Americans. On the American side, Washington commanded a diverse army. There were Continental Army regulars, militia units from several states, and French soldiers. Working together, they built trenches, siege works, and bombarded the British positions. Section 4. Victory or defeat. The siege of Yorktown lasted for 3 weeks. British and American soldiers fought bravely, but the outcome was inevitable. Cornwallis's situation was hopeless. He was outnumbered and outgunned. His escape route was blocked. On October 19, 1781, Cornwallis surrendered to Washington. The British soldiers marched out of Yorktown and laid down their arms. The American and French armies had won a great victory. Section 5. A New Nation. The British surrender at Yorktown was the beginning of the end of the American Revolution. It showed the world that the Americans could defeat the mighty British Army. The victory also convinced other countries like Spain and the Netherlands to help the Americans. 2 years later, in 1783, Great Britain formally recognized American independence. The United States of America was born. The brave fight at Yorktown helped secure the freedoms Americans enjoy today. It is a reminder that even a small nation fighting for its liberty can achieve great things.